You're listening to The Pop by Dr. Shanae, the Pursuit of Peace podcast, where I'm your host, Dr. Shanae Petit of SP Consulting Group, where our mission is to bring your vision to life. Join us as we have various discussions that focus on purpose, vision, strategy, and transformation on this pursuit of peace in our daily lives. Hey, it's Dr. Shanae of SP Consulting Group. I am here again with you guys on our pursuit of peace. Things have been shaking up in the world, but we're going to be talking today about the many sides of employer loyalty. Guess what? Here we are again, coming from personal experience. I have stayed with an employer longer than I should have. At least at the time, I didn't think so. But let's just say you have been in a position maybe longer than you thought you would, but then you literally stay because you really want to show that you are loyal to the call. Loyal to the call. But is that really what you're supposed to be doing in your career? Sometimes you have to ask yourself, why am I here? Why are you still in a position? You maybe thought that it was pretty amazing. It's a great job. Maybe it was your first job out of college, maybe your first job out of your doctoral program, whatever level you're in. But then what if you're like slightly dying inside, like you're completely bored? Even as I like to say, you get so bored, you begin to get nauseous. And it's so predictable. You're not learning much. You're not growing. How do you really know whether or not you really need to go? Because you're not really growing, right? So let me give you a personal example as usual. So I stayed with an employer because I thought, and I didn't realize it until later, but I was truly loyal, didn't think that I could get as much support anywhere else, thought that I should subscribe to everything that my management at different levels felt that I should be doing, felt that I would be great at. Like it was great. It was I don't know, like even a self-esteem booster to have them always telling me how great I was. And, oh, I'd be great in this position, or I'd be great in this role. Like, oh, yes, really? Oh, my goodness. Super excited. But was that really what I wanted to do? Yes, I wanted to grow, but was that what I wanted to do? What was my purpose? And when I started realizing all of the amazing skills that I had, and it's okay to know your worth. Let me just say that. I realized, man, I need to leave. I think, and mind you, I had people tell me this all the time, but I didn't really take it to heart when they said, at this point, Shanae, you've really outgrown yourself here. I had total strangers come from higher level management in the organization, meet me, schedule a sidebar meeting and say, you need to be at a higher level. They didn't at the time have the ability to take me there. But again, I was going along this, I don't know. I wonder if it was some level of codependency. That's a thought. But anyway, I love the fact that they were boosting me up, boosting my ego, telling me how great I was, one of a kind. Of course, not one of a kind enough to get paid for it, but that's a different podcast. But when it's all said and done, how do you know? How do you know? And what's the downside of staying too long in one place? Like it used to be back in the day where you stayed with a company. I mean, depending on your age and which generation you're in, like for me, I think I'm a millennial, I'm in my 30s and I'm sitting up here like, yeah, our parents stayed with jobs and companies with management for years until they retired. And, you hear nowadays how it's mixed feelings about, like, I guess it's the Gen Zers, the folks in the Generation Z group that they don't stay anywhere longer than 2 or 3 years. And 3 years is like, wow, pretty major, right? Well, when I think about it, I'm just like, sometimes you really do need to focus on what is it that you're trying to do. And if at the initial part of your career, you're still learning, you're still growing and finding and discovering what it is that your purpose is, how you want to, let's say, implement your skills, what platform, what industry, what area, you're still figuring that out. So you may be at a place for a year. Shoot, some people got in a job and within the first week, they like, yep, That's not it. I have seen and heard that before. And there's nothing wrong with that. You need to be true to yourself. But, when you overstay a place, you have to wonder, what are you really getting out of it if you're at the point where you're not growing? I stayed in a place and I was not growing. I may have been developing different skills just because that's how I am. I sort of venture out and I explore the skills that I could attain. How could I dive deeper into a particular area of my work? But when it was all said and done, I was not truly connecting the dots between my purpose and what it is that I was doing when I was taking additional trainings, or I don't know, going to volunteer to do a presentation in one particular area, researching in spaces that really weren't connected to my vision, to my purpose, to what I was going to ultimately do. And that's where you get to the part where it's the downside. You are literally wasting a lot of time. And again, the disclaimer is, if you are not delving into areas, learning new skills, that's going to help you in life or with actually fulfilling your purpose, what you're going to do for a living as a career that is based out of purpose, then you at the same time miss out on an opportunity to grow. So this is what I want to be able to share with you guys. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to look at some of the many ways that you can tell whether or not it's a good time for you to look for another opportunity. I know that in the last episode, we were talking about ways that you can stay if that is what you want to do. But if you're not sure whether or not you're growing and really reaching your full potential, then I want you to think about this. I'm going to list about 7 of those, okay? One of them is you aren't improving, right? I said you're wasting time, but you're also not improving your skills, your professional development, your level that you are in the company, and maybe the next thing is your company is moving toward a bad future. I know that I've been in a place where I've realized that the company no longer matched my values. And I said, I didn't see it changing. That was getting ready to be the new normal. I said, yeah, it's time for me to go. A third one. So the first one was you aren't improving. The second one is maybe your company is moving toward a bad future. They're moving into a different direction that you would believe yourself to be in or moving towards yourself. And how about this? Number 3, you don't respect your boss. At a certain point, you really were able to go to them for advice, felt that they were helping you. And then through a series of events, they've lost your respect. That's pretty major. It's going to be really hard for you to feel that you're thriving when someone that is to be leading you isn't someone that you even respect, okay? The fourth one, you're severely undervalued. Let me say that again. Severely undervalued. And that's a big one, especially if you're a person of color, where you feel that you are truly a best kept secret, if I could say it that way, And just to give a shout out to someone that I look up in my profession, Tina M. Sessions, Dr. Tina M. Sessions. And she wrote a book on being, your job's best kept secret and how to get out of that. You should check that book out. Again, Tina, T-A-N-A, M as in Mary, Session, not an S at the end. But Dr. Tina M. Sessions, she talks about that. How can you get out of that space where you are truly not being valued for all that you do? Don't get to the place where you're now accepting that and you're now dealing with imposter syndrome, but get to the place where you realize that you are worth more. You do have talents. Another one, the 6th one that I'm going to list here is you aren't even passionate about the work anymore. You remember when you first showed up and you were excited about getting ready for work? You were excited about the work that you did. Even when times were rough, you took the time to really dig in and find ways to be more creative and more impactful regardless, because the passion was there, right? You know what it means for you to be passionate. Maybe other people don't, but when you are passionate about your work. If you work in, customer facing industry, for example, like me, where I'm dealing directly and working directly with people, if I am I'm getting burned out by working with this person or this I guess, population, this group of people and these group of issues that I'm managing or trying to help people work through maybe the same type of struggles. But either way, you must be passionate. And if you have lost passion for your job, it's time for you to go. Yes, you may feel loyalty towards your boss. Yes, you may feel loyal to your team of folks that would literally be venting to one another. No, we're not trying to do that. We're not trying to do that. Have our lives based on commitment to other people that are miserable. No. We're not doing that. And another thing, and this is the last one I'm going to mention, is you don't fit the culture. That's a good one. Especially now that we're in this place where we're really trying to focus on cultural diversity and cultural competence and having a healthy work culture. We have to think about it. If you're feeling so out of place and there is no way for you to improve the environment, there is no way for you to really thrive where you are based on your beliefs, based off of your ability to receive information from those that are leading you. All of these things point to it is time to go. It's time to start looking at ways to move on. And for you, it may be doing the best that you can to squeeze out any more value in that role before you leave. Because, there's times where being in a place where you can learn and be challenged isn't the same thing as it's time to go. Sometimes you need to sit still and work through that so that you can actually grow. But there is a difference. And that's the thing. That is the point. There is a difference between when you want to stay somewhere, you are still growing, or there's even opportunity still for you to grow. There is still respect there. The place that you're working, it still provides value. But this particular episode is when it's time to go. Do not stay in a place because you feel loyal to the people. That is not how you progress in your career, because ultimately, yes, when you are looking for a position, it's about who you know. But when it's time to leave, it's about who you are and what your plans are for your future. Because it's different for everybody. Your purpose is not the purpose of everybody else. So quit paying attention to the value that you believe you're getting from loyalty. Loyalty has its place. And when it comes down to your professional growth, your personal growth, you want to be careful. Very careful, because ultimately, if you're loyal to that person and that person is reciprocating that level of respect and loyalty as well, they will likely see when you're no longer thriving and offer the discussion of what's next. Offer the discussion of what are you passionate about? What makes you excited about coming into work? Because the last few months or last few weeks, it's like all we do is talk about what we don't like, or that's all you're coming to do, for example. But think about that. Are you loyal to people that are going to help you go to the next step? You should be passionate. You should be thriving. You should be pushing the envelope for yourself, because we weren't created to be stagnant. So think about that. Think about where you are, what you could be doing, and what are your goals to reach that, not just the day-to-day, but what's your short-term goals? And does your short-term goals add up eventually to a long-term goal that you set? Did you even set any goals? How about that? Some people, they're like, I don't even really sit down and write down goals or my plans for the day, or what am I going to target for the day that's going to lead me to my ultimate goal. That's how a lot of people just stay stagnant for a long time and look up one day and are like, what in the world? I've been here for forever and didn't even realize it. I know that was me. I'm like, I've worked somewhere for a while and was like, wait a minute. My goal was really just to be here for a short period of time to get a little experience and then move on to something that was closer to my ultimate goal. But guess what? I didn't plan it out. I did not plan it out. It was just a vision. It was a dream. It was, oh yeah, that would be nice. But I didn't set it in motion. I didn't put it on paper. And as they say, I didn't write it down. So my vision was not plain. Okay. It was not clear. So ultimately, don't allow time to pass and be so focused on being loyal that you lose touch with what your purpose is and what your goal is. I think that was really the point of this. So many people I've heard, and I have even been guilty of it, where I've consistently thought of how would this person feel after they've helped me so much in this or that particular position, job, whatever. What are they going to feel if it's time for me to leave, if I feel that it's time for me to leave? But ultimately, when I left and decided it was time for me to open my own practice, they were like, hey, I would have done the same thing. Funny story. Like, don't sit on it. Okay. You guys, there's a lot of people out there waiting for you to show up as the you were meant to be. And we need you. We need you to be who you are so that someone who has been waiting for you can get their jump start to follow through and do the exact same thing, right? So just think about it. Where does your loyalty lie? In the people that see you, that have helped you? Or are you more loyal and are going to decide to be more loyal to your purpose? Make a decision. But I've shared with you all a few of the signs that it's time to go. So take those into consideration. Just as a reminder, it's, for example, if you aren't improving, your company is moving in a direction that does not suit you, or you feel that it's not even in keeping with your values, you don't respect your boss, you're extremely undervalued, or best kept secret, and you are passionate about the work. And last but not least, you don't fit the culture. And we're not talking about race. We're talking about the culture, how people do things, how people operate. Okay. What is the culture? It doesn't fit. Then you gotta keep moving. You gotta assess some things, right? So I hope in your particular situation, this information was found valuable, or at least sparked a discussion, sparked, some thought and some introspection for you to look within yourself to say, what is best for me and how am I best living on purpose? So until next time, y'all, keep pursuing peace. A lot of times you can find peace in your purpose, right? All right. You take care. Till next time. Oh, and if you guys want, you can find me at www.officialspcg.com. The website has been updated. So it is www.officialspcg.com. You can get on there and get connected with me. Let me know if you want to be a guest or if you just want to talk further. I'm here for you, all right? Take care. Bye-bye.